And we are back to our Kentucky Route Zero Let's Play, just as I promised. We just heard a glorious rendition of a song called It's Too Late to Love You, and it was beautiful by by Junebug here, our queen of songstressing. Is that how it, songwriting? Whisper wave is the genre, I think. I don't know how to put it, but it was an amazing moment. And they're going to get their pay from Harry, so hopefully he'll do that so that they can finally get us back on the road to the zero. Well, Harry, I think that went pretty well. I'd say the crowd was into it. Reverential. Rapt. I guess the usual fee is about right, and we'll let you get back to your business. Well, that's just the... Damn it, I was trying to tell you to. I can't pay. They cleaned me out. I've got nothing left but a goddamn IOU from the distillery. An IOU? Yeah, I traded them some whiskey, and I guess I had some surplus credit, so I got this note to get some more from them later on. Must have been a hell of a trade. I had to. Got to keep this place open somehow, goddammit. Watch your language, Harry. Say, we just need to get pointed towards the zero. Oh, God. What's that? You know what they're talking about? Tell you what, you point my friends and I to the zero, and we'll call it even. Are you folks sure you want to head down there? I've never been myself, but I hear... People hear things. Rumors. I've already been there. It was not that bad. I mean, it's weird. It's some sort of parallel dimension or something like that, but it wasn't too bad. Do you know another way to get to Dogwood Drive? Dogwood? Got a letter, did you? I've got a stack of them. Letter? Well, okay. Sounds like the zero's your only course now. Harry, you're all right. If only. You got a radio in your car? Yep. Well, here's what you got to do. Take a left out of the parking lot, and then just fiddle around on your dial until you hear something familiar. Familiar but strange. You know the feeling? Like, I used to go hunt with my uncle out in the mountains, and now I watch these nature programs. They're filmed in the mountains, and there's the deer, and I know all the plants and every kind of tree, but something just doesn't look right. And it's even stranger for being so close to familiar. Something like that. You'll know it when you hear it. Fix that strange but familiar station on your dial, drive for a bit, and then turn around when the station cuts out. I mean, right then. Hope you folks find what you're looking for, eventually. Always a pleasure, Harry. Is it? Okay, so this is going to be an interesting... We have to turn on the radio. We have to turn up the audio. Hopefully there's not too much ping back. I try to keep the audio low here so that it doesn't get picked up by my mic. Is this the radio here? This station doesn't quite match that bartender's description. Definitely weird, though. Let's keep scanning. He said we'd know it when we heard it. It's not that. What's this station? I've never heard it before. Sounds like horses. Horses running? A race? Charlie and I used to go to races sometimes. Charlie? He was your boss's kid, right? The one who, Yeah, must be some memories there. Well, that fits familiar but strange for me. Harry said we just drive until it cuts out. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do then. Oh! Hey, get out of the road! Get out of there, horses. Unless you're gonna take me to get to the zero. somehow. I guess you're going to have me turn around. Oh, nope. Methinks I found my way back in. Is anything on the radio now? I don't like that. That one was... Okay. Let's steer clear from the creepy music on the radio and just drive. Back to this old thing again, huh? Hall of the Mountain King. Act 3, Scene 6. Has there been a Scene 6 before? Somehow I managed to completely skip over 4 and add 1 somewhere. This is weird. What is... Looks like we're on the end of an unmade bridge. Or unfinished bridge. They don't keep the roads up too well, do they? Not down here. So empty. Just let it go, I guess. What's Johnny got to say about all this? Time to cut him loose, man. Well, now I'm having fun. Ah, okay. Slow night anyway. The bridge ends abruptly, crumbling in disrepair. There's a boardwalk, though. I'm never going to get to Dogwood Drive. It's like the world's building around me. What's this rope here? A loop of decayed rope is coiled on the banister. Some rotted sections have been smoothed over with fine dust. Alright. Computadoras. Broken computer monitors are heaped precariously among the rocks. No, keep going. Keep going, Conway. Pet carrier. Ooh. There's a big-ass fire up there. A pet carrier for a cat or a small dog has been left by the past. A calcified rag wadded in the corner may once have been a blanket. Poor dog or cat. Hope it wasn't stuck in there. What the hell is that up there? A backpack. I do love me a bonfire, though. A hiking backpack leans against a rock. It's empty except for a dusty bag of cat food and a few punch cards. Is anybody up there? The Mountain King, perhaps? A pile of discarded electronics burns steadily in the center of the chamber. Uh-oh, we're doing one of these crazy perspective changes. Oh, it's triangles with triangles down here. Shifting, intersecting, overlaying. Isn't it romantic? Let's see. You're here to steal back the love of a boy you once knew, when you were too young to recognize the movements of the heart. And you're escorting her, pretending to have her interests at heart, while really you're in love with the young woman as well. So you've agreed to help him conspire to win her affections, but it's just a ploy to set him up for embarrassment and diminish him out of the picture. Shannon's going to say, "What are you talking about?" No, you're right. It's insipid, derivative. I used to be really good at this. I had 11 novels published, From the billionaire's bidding to fields of longing, real hot, bodice-ripping stuff, you know? I miss those days in my Lexington studio apartment, just me and my thesaurus steaming up the windows. I'm gonna say this because I think it's funny. I'm not sure you should be listening to this, kid. I'm not listening. But of course, it couldn't last. You know, suddenly it was all computers everywhere you went. I thought I might be able to do something with that, inject a little libido into those ugly beige boxes. Ha! So I went back to the university and I studied human-computer interaction, and then I picked up Donald's research assistantship here as a tester, debugging. In my off hours, I played around with the doomed love story at the core of our little simulation. That seemed to amuse Donald, so I kept at it. I'm afraid I tinkered too much, made it too complex. Now our work is never done. We don't even have to add any new functionality. The bugs just grow on their own. Too complex. I miss those days in my Lexington studio apartment. I kind of miss those days too. Oh, I guess there's nothing new to be said about the fire. I'm guessing this is who she is an assistant to, the old man. Donald puffs on a smoldering pipe while half mumbling, singing an old country tune. Where the old green river runs, through hills and caves not known to us, down to that sunless sea. Oh, who are you? What's that song? Oh, you've caught a verse of my absent-minded warbling. It's just a song from my youth. Something a dear friend used to sing to herself as we hacked on crystal radios in the boiler room. In old Kentucky where my love a lovely home did build for me, and where the old green river runs through hills and caves not known to us, down to that sunless sea. From there on, it's all meandering rivers and romantic greenery, and that is what we were talking about. What's that computer over there? Looks pretty vintage. It looks like a harmless old computer, doesn't it? Like some beat-up mainframe exhumed from a university basement and left in this cave to rot, or to flower. No, it's no ordinary computer. I've modified it extensively, and in some pretty experimental ways, believe you me, and that's to say nothing of the software, but you look like a technically minded sort of person. Tell me, do you know the effects of mold growth on diffuse-based transistor circuitry? No, I don't, as a matter of fact. Sounds like it would short circuit. Certainly. But not all of it. Some moldy filaments are more or less conductive than others, and it grows in non-linear chaotic patterns. We can guide it in a bit through a simple application of classical horticulture, but we can't produce specific results, only tendencies. Thwarted and feeble, we hammer on this derelict keyboard. My name is Reason, King of Kings. But we are mere gardeners in the ruins. Our keystrokes echo off into the tunnels, boundless and bare. The caves stretch far away. We are too late, always too late. What? Did you say something? I'm just interested in the mold computer. The mold computer, Oh, Xanadu. You've heard about it. Perhaps you've read about it in a journal. It's been years since I published anything. Xanadu has evolved significantly since I explained its data structures in literary multitudes, hypertextual narrative, and post-structural witness. Evolved, and then deteriorated. Donald sighs dramatically and takes a puff from his pipe. I'm afraid you are too late, fellow hypertext enthusiast. As the mold accumulated on the circuitry, Xanadu blossomed for a moment into something holy and enchanted. Then all the charm was broken. Do you have any idea what it's like to spend your life building something and then sit powerlessly as your work declines into ruin? I drive deliveries for a small antique shop and we're closing down. Ah, shuffling around the dusty ghosts of antiquity. Well, I have my own ghosts. I keep them in there, in Xanadu. It's running on that glorious, dusty machine. Take a look if you'd like. Too late to do anything but smoke and reminisce anyway. Far too late to do anything. That was a depressing conversation, and strange, but then again, you kind of come to expect that in this game. Do you know that when I first... No, I mean, if this cave were larger, could it... Now I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got it. How would you characterize the space, the one we're standing in now? Kind of spooky, but I'm not scared. Spooky for a baby. I think we'd all agree that's a fair assessment. How could... Wait, let's unpack that for a moment. What makes it spooky? No. How do you know it's spooky? Or would be spooky for a baby? The huge fire. Mysterium tremendum. It sends the shadows scattering, momentarily lights the mouth of unseen tunnels. That fire is constantly reshaping my... Close your eyes. Will you close your eyes? Only if you close yours. Okay. I can do it from memory. Good. Now, you are standing at the top of a rocky peak. A tongue of flame licks the shadowy anemones of... Where are we? Oh, here again. How disappointing. Sorry to disappoint. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't be so attached to the future. It's always getting in the way of my work. Better to be in the moment, carefully observing and documenting with no attachment. Let me give you an example. I was a grad student studying statistics when I started working with Donald on this project. He said we needed someone with a more analytical mind to do the descriptive writing, someone who would appreciate the cave descriptions as real labor instead of taking their authorial voice for granted. Donald warned me it would be long hours of typing, painstakingly detailed description into the computer. And I've put in the hours, believe me, I've put in the hours. I've described every facet of this cave in such detail that sometimes I don't know if I'm reading or looking, writing or exploring. Often in the dark and lonely moments, I worry that in my sleep, I've transcribed rooms from my dreams into the system. How would we know? They could only be entered with precise, faithful detail. That's all I know how to write, and all I dream about is caves. I only dream of caves. Are we in this dude's dream? I'd be so pissed off about that. Not trying to do that. There's a gate. Everything just keeps getting a little bit stranger. A massive gate constructed out of the scavenged materials blocks passage down to the far side of the spire. Who's Roberta? Roberta. The kingdom is in peril. Roberta laughs. Well, what else is new? Where's the kingdom? You're in the throne room. There are 3 legendary treasures hidden throughout the castle that restore these ruins to their former glory. Do you work here? Work? You could call it that. I gather old circuit boards and throw them in the fire. Sometimes I fish out precious metals and let them cool into toxic gems and put them in my hair. Enchanted jewelry, talismans, a magic mirror that prevents the future, a magic shield that protects the bearer from age, a magic chest that's always filled with... I never went to the university. I was an independent scholar. It means I took to the public libraries like a beachcomber. I studied fairy tales. And then I came to work for Donald. I paid the bills, rubbed leathering elbows with academics, scraped black mold from cave walls. Finally, now I carry the firewood into the senescence. The kingdom is in peril. Let's go check out this computer. The mold computer. This is a very large cavern at the top of a mountain. Doesn't seem correct. Baffling control panels are sheltered from the elements with a worn tarp. A closet-sized wall of knobs and wires looms behind the machine, humming faintly. An electric typewriter is the only easily recognizable component. How do you think we get it started? This old thing? Maybe there's a hand crank around or it has a run key. Scene 7? Xanadu. This episode might run a little long, folks, because I just want to get this over with. I want to know what's going on here. A den of Ardo. It's a house of some kind? Ha! This thing is in rough shape. These switches do anything? Conway flips an unlabeled switch. The house is starting to become a little bit clearer. Okay, that's worse. I don't know if it's worse, Shannon. It kind of looks like a house. Type house. Type in. Did that work? And bleed out. Blood quit. Made it even worse. It's like some kind of abstract art. Time for some percussive maintenance. Conway thumps the side of the machine. Oh, I have my portable degausser with me here. Old systems like this one can build up a remnant Old systems like this one can build up a remnant magnetic field so it warps everything along the way. The degausser clears that up by suddenly shaking the magnetic field around it so it's uniform. That's how I like to think of it anyway. Like a shaking snow with a shot. Hall of the Mountain Gate. Well, okay. Salad, can't read any of that. Ooh, quit. Something, press any key to quit. Immature. This is a lost cause. What a piece of junk. Man, this just keeps going. Bizarre. And what was that about, Lula? Maybe Donald knows how to clear it up a bit. I didn't see anything about Lula in there, but they're convinced they saw it. Anyway, I think out of precautionary measures, I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode as well. I was hoping to be able to get the whole thing done, but I don't know how long this is going to keep continuing, just because they keep adding more and more scenes that I'm used to. But I'm really enjoying this episode so far, so I definitely hope you'll stick with us. Check out jetpackjoust.com, all those other shenanigans. You know the deal. If you've seen the other episodes, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. So you're either going to do it or you're not, but I hope you will, because I'm a nice person, and I think you should support me in the things that I do. Anyway, until next time, a Bill Murray.